Alright, you guys, so I wanted to talk about a little bit of some swaps we're going to be doing here. So, firstly, this is like a Rodanzilla, and this is my favorite of my Imperial collection. I just really like this guy. So, I had the idea of making like a modern, NECA style version of this. So I was able to pick this guy really cheap off of Mercari, and you can see that it's missing its hands. It looks like even the ball joint right there is busted off. So I got these Sauron wings in a fodder trade a while back, and I've been holding on to them, waiting for something neat. And so we're going to remove the damaged arms off of this guy, and we'll be adding these wings onto it to recreate this Rodanzilla, style monster from like the 80s Imperial Company. Um, and with that being said, we've also got this Cyclops here. Um, Remember me talking earlier? I didn't really like how tiny the shin arms were on it. You can see I've still got a base shin right here. You see how little those arms are. Because my other Cyclops have a little bit bigger arms, and I wanted it to stay more, proportional to the other ones I've made. So I'm going to end up taking these damaged arms right here off of this NECA figure, and I'll just sculpt out new hands for it. And yeah, we of course by doing that, we won't have articulation of the wrist. Especially since that ball joint is already missing, busted off. But it'll already be more articulation than the other ones have, because it has elbow joint articulation. And I'll just end up doing like two fingers and one thumb, to keep it simple, because like the Harry Houston Cyclops, only have three fingers, and sculpting hands is the hardest part. I do have some spare hands that I could use, but I think to get the look I want, I'm going to go ahead and just make hands for scratch for these arms. But yeah, excited about that, because just making use of everything we have, and I think this will, it's not a huge size bump from the shin arms, but I think it's going to make a lot of difference, when we have this guy standing next to the other two, just looking more proportionate for what we're doing here. But anywho, so this just goes to show you, everything that I have eventually does get used for a project. And yeah, super excited to make this rendering of the Rodanzilla. And I'll definitely add a horn on here, and I might sculpt just a little bit of a beak right here to match it more. But yeah, that's where we're going with this. So I'm going to go ahead and get my heat gun, pop those arms off, and I'll see y'all in a little bit. Alright, so the arms are off. I was kind of surprised how big those ball joints are that the arms were on. But I think what we're going to do here is just go ahead and cut that ball joint off. And it looks like that hole might be just a little tiny for these pegs to fit in. But I think I can just go ahead and take my drill and drill those holes just a little bit larger and be able to pop these arms on without having to modify them too much. Now I'm almost certain I'm going to have to cut a little bit of the wing, probably right along there to be able to fit on the Godzilla body, but that's not a big deal at all. I don't think I'm going to have to do that much work to this to fit that in there, the actual, the size of that bicep. But if I do, that'll just be a balancing act of maybe making this hole a little bit larger or that a little bit smaller with my Dremel, but we'll cross that bridge when I get there. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and remove the ball joints and see if I can't drill that hole out just a little bit larger and pop these wings in. But I'll do that and show you that in just a little bit. Holy crap, you guys. So those ball joints, I didn't actually have to cut them. I was actually able to just pull them out with my pliers. And the Sauron wings actually pop in there. Just as is. Can you believe it? They actually pop into those joints. So I did end up having to trim a little bit off the wings for it to have mobility around the Godzilla body. And as you can see, even though it does fit in there, there is a little bit of a gap. But all I'll have to do is just add a little bit of milliput around that just to make that joint, look a little bit more connected right there. But yeah, I am loving this so much. You can see we can pose the wings like that. But yeah, this is our NECA remake of the Rodanzilla from the Imperial Company back in the 80s. But yeah, so this is going to be a really simple custom. I can't even believe that those arms, just popped in there without me having to add anything to it. But yeah, so this is where we're at right now. And like I said, I'm going to just be adding a little bit of milliput around these joints right here, just to, make it look a little bit more finished because there is a little bit of a gap, but it fits in there perfectly, you guys. And after that, it's just going to be adding a little bit of a beak on this guy and a horn, and I'll paint them up, and yeah, we'll have a modern version of that guy in the back. Awesome, you guys. Yeah, so just hold on a little bit. I'm going to start throwing some milliput on it, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for hanging out.